What's happening, everybody? Dave Bowen back again with The Truth Will Set You Free, Part 2. And actually, I am shooting this the next day, but I haven't finished editing and finishing up Part 1. And I don't know how many parts of this I'm going to do. Maybe 3, 4. It just depends on how long, how much information I want to put into this. Because this is actually going to be my first book. It's going to be titled The Truth Will Set You Free, and haven't decided exactly what the topics are going to be, but I'm sure it'll be along the lines of what I'm doing in this video. And, the title says it all. We are now in a time, I kind of talked about it in the previous video, but I don't think I did enough. The whole 2012 deal with the Mayans, okay, the whole December 21st, 2012 deal was totally, you may have heard me mention in the previous part, which, by the way, if you have not watched that, make sure I'm sure there'll be an annotation somewhere for you to click and watch part 1, because it's very important that you do that. But I mentioned in part 1 about the Illuminati. And there are different branches of this adversary, but just picture as, a loving, truthful, good bunch of people, which, I call the Alliance. And then you have a negative, evil. I mean, I don't really want to call them. They are, in a sense, evil. But believe it or not, some of them, I've come to find out through my research, not to get off track here, but I think this is important for people to understand. The Illuminati is big on bloodlines. They believe the magic is in the bloodlines. They think that they descend from gods, which is something I'm going to touch on, the ancient astronaut theory, that extraterrestrials came down in ancient days and helped our societies. And they believe that they descend from some ancient, bloodline. And that they're on their path to become gods, and they can control people. Okay, well, one thing I want to make sure you understand before I move on here is that we are in probably the most important time in the history of this planet. It is the most important time of the history of this planet. Now, you are either really on one side or the other. I was watching a video series that I have not completely finished yet. Actually, 2 of them. One is called The Law of One, which was channeled by a group by the name of Ra, which actually they say that they did come down and help them build the pyramids. And the pyramids were actually built as an ascension device, as a healing device. And then the teachings, they had to leave because they saw that they were becoming gods, in a sense, to the people, and that's not what they wanted. So they saw that they had to leave, and then the teachings were totally changed for the negative, and that's where you get the Illuminati. It comes from that teaching, that good, truthful, loving teaching that was taken and flipped upside down to be a negative, mind-controlling teaching. Okay, and so, anyways, there's going to be and the other, I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here. The other video series I was watching by a guy by the name of David Wilcock, who is amazing. Project Camelot interviewed him. So if you just go to YouTube and you type in Project Camelot David Wilcock interview, and then also look up The Law of One, raw material. There's PDF books that you can get a free download of. You can also buy the books on Amazon, and there's also YouTube videos, which are kind of monotonous because they've got a silly voice. It's better to just read them, but any way you want to do it, make sure you watch those. Those are important. But both of those, because David Wilcock based most of his teachings, most of his books and his philosophy on the Law of One teaching, which was channeled back in from 1950 to 1981. Most of what you'll see was from 1981, and they both talk about the same thing, which is this whole 2012 thing that the Mayans were talking about was a new, and it talks about it in the Bible too, in Revelations, about how John saw a new heaven and a new earth, and that's what it's about, guys. And what's going to happen is there are different dimensions. Scientists, physicists have confirmed this. They have actually confirmed that there are multiple dimensions. Okay, and like you have the third dimension, which we are in right now. We are in 3D. Okay, and what's happening is the earth is moving into a fourth dimension. Okay, that's the new heaven and the new earth. And in the Law of One series, Ra talks about how it's going to be 100 times more harmonious, more loving, more peaceful than the earth that we live on right now. Okay, so it's going to be like heaven, the new heaven and the new earth. All right, and now my point to bringing up the beginning of the alliance and you could call the Illuminati the negative side of it. There's always a positive and negative in everything in life. You're either on one side or the other. There really is not any middle ground. And it talks about this in the Bible, except they twisted it to saying that you had to believe in Jesus and Jesus would save you. Now, I do believe in Jesus. I know for a fact that he came down on this earth and he taught us amazing things. His teachings changed this world. We're still talking about him 2,000 some years later. Okay, so his teachings were important. That being said, I think a lot of it was twisted. I know a lot of it was twisted. Okay, was he the Son of God? He never even really said that. He called himself the Son of Man. Okay, the Son of Man. So I don't know. I don't want to get into a religious argument. As I said in the first part, I do not want you to take what I'm saying, my thoughts, my beliefs, and take them as your own. Okay, I want you. What my goal is for you to hear this stuff, to open your mind, to open your third eye, which is one of my major goals, is to help people open their third eyes, and to listen to your heart. Okay, listen to your heart. Your heart will tell you what is true and what is not. And that's how I've based a lot of what I'm doing on whether something's true or not. My heart tells me, oh no, that's ridiculous, or yeah, that's true. That resonates with me. All right, and that's what I want you to learn to do, is to listen to your heart, to open your mind, and get your own beliefs. Okay, come to your own beliefs. All right, that's very important, because you have been programmed, and it's not a negative thing. I'm not talking down on you. I should say, even myself, until I broke it here in the past 2 months, were programmed to believe that you have to show me proof, or the Bible is the only way. Whatever's in the Bible is the way that it is, and that's not true. It's not true. Now, this is a very important book, but as I said in the last part, yes, the Bible has been tampered with, but no, it hasn't. And what I mean by that is, as I said in the last video, if you open your mind, and one way that I recommend is go into a meditation. If you really want to know the truth, go into a meditation. And by meditating, that's something I do want to teach in this video, and I will teach once I finish what I'm talking about here, so I can keep on track a little bit. Go into a deep meditation. The solfeggio frequencies I told you about in the last part is a great way to do that. It'll help put you in a deep state of meditation. And ask for the truth. You don't have to physically say it. You can say it in your mind, and you can ask for the truth. I want to know the truth. I want to be able to see the truth by reading the Bible. I want to know the truth, and you can keep saying that. Also, a great saying that I got from somebody, Occult Teachings, I was telling you about him on YouTube. You can look it up for yourself. Is this ancient saying that's in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Mahabharata, which is a 7,000-year-old text from India, I believe. And it talks about Krishna, who was a god to them that came down, almost kind of like Jesus. And actually Christians have been baffled that a lot of the teachings that Krishna taught were the same teachings that Jesus taught. Okay, and they say, these Christian scholars say, oh well, they stole those teachings from Jesus and put them in their own. But it's 7,000 years old, so I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. This saying is Hare, H-A-R-E, Krishna. Here, I'll write it down for you. And this is an ancient Sanskrit, so you can say it this way, or I will give you the translation, which it's kind of hard to translate Sanskrit, because there's many different ways you can translate it into English. But here's Krishna, Har. All right, that's the first part. And then the second part is Har Rama. 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 Brahma. Har. Har. All right. Now, here is what this person did on the English translation, what this really means. And that is, take away my pain and suffering. Give me spiritual liberation. I want to experience Dharma, the highest love, joy, happiness, and compassion. For those of you that don't know what Dharma is, it comes from the Buddhist teaching, which is the law. You know, it's the law of the universe, peace, order, and the law of the universe. Like karma, you know, karma is also a law of the universe. And it's please activate my inner sun, which is your third eye. And I read you the verse from Matthew about how Jesus talks about the eye is the light in the body. All right, to shine truth, stability, and justice into my consciousness. Now I guess I could write that down for you because it's pretty long. So let's do that real quick. All right, so there's that. Oh no. That's great. Can I edit that? Well, anyways, I try to shrink that down. Hopefully you guys can see that. If not, I apologize. I'll say it again. Take away my pain and suffering. Give me spiritual liberation. I want to experience Dharma, the highest love, joy, compassion, and happiness. Please activate my inner sun to shine truth, stability, and justice into my consciousness. All right. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. If I can even remember what I was saying, is I was talking about how 2012, which of course has passed, was the beginning of a new Earth, even a new heaven and earth. It's been scientifically proven by NASA. You can go research it yourself, that we are not just experiencing global warming on the Earth. We are experiencing global warming across the whole universe. Well, at least I'm pretty sure it's the whole universe, but I know for a fact in our solar system, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, of course the Earth, Mars, Neptune, Uranus, they're all experiencing global warming. Mars is having massive storms and their polar ice caps are melting. Okay, so it's not just changes on the Earth. The whole solar system is experiencing massive changes. And that's why I recommend going to watch and check out some of David Wilcock's stuff, because I was blown away at what he was teaching. And it has to do with the torsion fields and the torus. If you've heard of the torus before, just imagine a donut, okay? We all have our own toruses around us. And it's this field, it's this torsion field, okay? And it goes in and it comes back out, and it's like a torsion field. It's called a torus. Just imagine a circle like a donut with a hole, and just imagine inside this hole, this field keeps coming in and out, creating energy. All right, and so they have proven also scientifically that in the middle of our galaxy is just like our solar system, and it has not necessarily a sun, but it all spins around this one piece of energy, whatever that energy is, like a sun. And that piece of energy is sending out energy waves throughout the universe. And, they've proven too that every 65 million years we see a tremendous jump in evolution. And see, evolution is true to an extent, not the survival of the fittest. That was all premeditated in order to create chaos on this earth by the elites. But evolution is true in a sense that we do evolve. Okay, we do evolve. Species do evolve, and they've proven that by taking, for instance, I forget, it's like a lizard. I forget which lizard it is. I should have wrote it down. If you watch David Wilcock's stuff, he talks about it. But they took this lizard and put it in a different environment where there was a predator. And this lizard had, tiny little legs, Well, in order to be able to run away from this predator, it grew long legs to run faster. Then it couldn't get away by running, so its legs shrunk back again so it could climb up trees. And this happened all within one generation, not tons of generations, within one generation. Also, there was another, I believe, lizard type, reptile type creature that was taken into an environment. It was previously it would eat insects. It was taken into an environment like a jungle, a tropical jungle where there's tons of vegetation, and it turned into a vegetarian. And its stomach, its digestive system, its facial features changed. It all changed to make it more like a vegetarian, to be able to digest this vegetarian food and other facial features that it needed to be a vegetarian. Okay? Now, this is incredible. This shows you. But now here's the thing, that Darwinian, it said that we just are a random act of evolution, and that's not true. There are these torsion fields inside the universe that are constantly being sent out, okay? And the periods of time, 65 million years, is how long it takes to get to our Earth, okay? And the Mayan calendar, they have a 25,000 year cycle, all right? And that also, I think, has something to do with it. Precession, it takes 25,000, roughly 26,000 years for the Earth to go through what's called precession, which is where there is a little wobble in the Earth's axis, and it goes 1 degree every 72 years. It moves, all right? And so that also has something to do with it. But anyways, back to my whole point to this is that we are evolving into this fourth dimension, all right? We are evolving into this fourth dimension where it's going to be just incredible, of course, unless you are on this negative spiritual path. But if you even have the slightest thing inside of you that says, I want to get on the right spiritual path, that's what my goal is to help you to do. All right, that's what I believe I've been put on this earth for, is, just start following what I'm teaching you to do. Start meditating. And I'll have some more in-depth videos on some meditation techniques I've picked up that work incredibly well. One of them I've already given you, which is listening to the solfeggio frequencies. Okay, even if you just have Pandora, there's actually some channels on Pandora. If you type in 528 hertz, all right, you'll find a whole channel of amazing music that helps you to meditate. It's real peaceful. It's just incredible. It also will give you, just giving you a heads up, it'll give you more lucid dreams. For the longest time, I could never remember my dreams, but recently I've been waking up and remembering my dreams, and a lot of that has to do with because the dream world is actually a real world in a sense. It's not real to us because, of course, we're in this three-dimensional world, but it is a real world in a sense, and other beings, higher dimensional beings can contact you and communicate with you inside the dream world, and that's why it's important. I haven't been doing it as well as I should, but like this morning, I had a crazy dream, and I wrote it down. So that's something else I recommend doing when you wake up in the morning. If you can meditate on the dream that you had, because you do dream every single night. If you can remember it, meditate on it, and write it down immediately. Write it down immediately, and you will notice that you will have things that happen in your dream that actually end up happening in real life. Or there's some type of symbolism in your dream that's telling you what's about to happen in your life. All right, so it's important. But the whole meditation and connecting with your higher self, opening your third eye. All right, ascension, contacting your higher self and getting into contact with your higher self and opening your chakras, your 7 chakras, are so important. And probably the most important thing, which is why I've really gotten into Buddhism, not the religion in itself, but the philosophy and the teachings of Buddhism, is the fact that, you have to get rid of self, okay? Throughout the day, you really should ask yourself, is what I'm doing selfish, or am I doing something to help another human being, or something else? Am I doing something to help? Am I doing it for something else, or am I doing it for myself? All right, and to get on this correct spiritual path, you want to do things to help others. You want to get the self out. That's one of the most important parts of contacting your higher self, is getting rid of the shadow self. Because you do have a shadow self. Like, I'm looking at my shadow right here, and that's what it is. You do have a shadow self, believe it or not. Some of the stuff may sound crazy to you, but again, I beg you, listen to your heart, okay? Listen to your heart. A lot of this stuff, you know, but you've been programmed to call it crazy, okay? And some of you watching this may have even had some paranormal experiences, maybe contact with extraterrestrials. Who knows? I don't know. But I can tell you this, that it is important. I mean, I just can't stress the importance of contacting your higher self and getting into contact with your true consciousness, okay, with your true inner being. Now, some other things I want to talk about are, I guess I've kind of, I touched on the Fibonacci spiral, okay, and I don't think there's much more I can say on that. It's in everything in nature. Not only does it have to do with the spiral, but you've got the golden ratio, which I believe is 1.168, which is actually the square root of pi, I believe. And it all ties together. And you can look at ancient architecture, like even the Egyptian pyramids had this right here inside, and this is the symbol for it. I'm sure you've seen this before, but it had this inside the pyramid. And also the pyramids, I may have said this in the last episode, calculated the speed of light, okay, and many, many other things that they should not have been able to do. So that's why I think the teachings of Ra, the Law of One series, is incredible, because they actually admit and say that, yes, they helped build the pyramids to use it as an ascension device, which is what I'm talking to you about right now, this spiritual ascension. But anyways, what else I wanted to talk to you about is the 9 code, okay? This is crazy, and if you've may have stumbled across, I believe his name is James Gates, I think. Anyways, he, researching superstring theory, which is a new theory, well, not new, I should say. Actually, it's been around for 20, 30 years maybe. Theory in physics that there are strings inside the universe, whether it's circles or actual strings, that help keep the fabric of space together, okay? And, this James Gates, I don't understand the whole, scientific part of it, but he was trying to describe these superstrings mathematically, and what he found was perfect sequences of ones and zeros that are actually the same ones and zeros that are in your computer browsers, okay? They're not just random sequences. They are literally this computer code that was discovered in the 1940s that has been the basis of our computers today, including your browsers, search engines. And so therefore, could we be living in a computer simulated universe? I don't know, but it's interesting. But anyways, here's another one to kind of go even further down the rabbit hole, because this rabbit hole is extremely deep, guys. I have not reached the bottom. I don't know if I ever will, which is awesome. I love it. It's exciting to me. I don't know. It's just something I love. Well, the 9 code basically talks about how, I mean, you see nine in almost everything. There's 9 planets in our universe. There's a woman's pregnant for 9 months. Um, what else? Nine is an extremely important number because if you remember in the 9 table, okay, you've got 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, and then there's like a mirror and it flips. You've got 54, which is the reverse of 45. Then you've got 63, and then you've got 72, and then you've got 81, and then you've got 90. Okay, so it's literally a mirror image of this. Now, here's the other thing. They all equal 9, okay? And I hate when this thing does that. Okay, so that's good enough. So they all equal 9. So, of course, 9 equals 9. Then you've got 18, 1 plus 8. This is called the digital root number, equals 9. 27 equals 9. Okay, they all equal 9. I'm sure you learned this in school. I remember I did. That's one way that you could tell what was the next in the multiplication table and stuff like that. Now, here's an interesting thing. Okay, first of all, you can take any number, all right, and let's just use, I don't know, 3764. Okay, now reverse it, all right, so 4673, and then subtract it, so you've got 6, 13, 9, wait, right, yeah, excuse me, and then take this, and then you've got this, and you've got, wow, how about that? 909, and this is 0. Okay, so 909, so add those up. It would be 18, then add those up, and it would be 9. All right? That's called the digital root number. You keep adding till you can't add anymore. All right? Now, every single number other than, say, like 2002 is a good example because when it's reversed, it's the same thing. Okay, so you get 0. All right? You get 0. Every single number just about that you take, or I'm sorry, every single number is either 9 or 0. Either one. Now what's that remind you of? Ones and zeros. Okay? Now here's another thing. If you look at the tilt of our Earth is 23.4 degrees. Okay, so what's that? That's 9. You look at a compass, all right? You've got 360 degrees north, all right? You've got, what is it, 90 degrees west, or no, I'm sorry, east. You've got south is 180, yeah, 180, and then you've got 270. Sorry about that. I was trying to remember there. West. Okay, they all add up to 9. All right, they all add up to 9. What else could I go into? I mean, there's so much stuff, guys, and when you open your mind and look for this stuff, you'll see it everywhere, everywhere. Just like you can see the Fibonacci spiral and the golden ratio just about everywhere. Okay, it's absolutely incredible. Now, why do I tell you this? Well, because it proves that there was an intelligent designer. All right, there was an intelligent creator. One creator, okay? One creator that created this. I never understood people, not that I have hard feelings for these people, but I never understood people like, say atheists that think that there's nothing out there. It doesn't compute with me. It never has. Because I've always looked at even nature, but especially the stars, and thought, how in the world can you say that this just bang came? And that there was nobody that created it, there was no reason that somebody created it, that we're just here. It just didn't compute with me, okay? It simply did not compute with me, and I didn't understand. And there's a good reason why, because that's not the way that it is. It's also been scientifically proven that the Big Bang Theory, yes, it did happen. I think I talked about this in the first part, but scientists are baffled at what caused the Big Bang, because there had to have been a massive, I mean, when I say massive, I mean, we can't even fathom the amount of energy that it took to start the Big Bang, okay? And then to have all these intelligent mathematical equations. This may sound like common sense, but I want you to really think about it. Numbers were here before we got here. Okay, numbers were written in the fabric of the cosmos and the world before we ever got here. All right, so think about that. Think about that for a minute, and that leads me into the next, probably the last part of this part, is some stuff that I've been researching through Greg Braden, which I mentioned in the last video about his book called The Isaiah Effect, which is an incredible book. There has been, through the Dead Sea Scrolls, a new mode of prayer discovered, which actually isn't new at all. It's very ancient. And you have different forms of prayer. I don't remember. I think there's 5. Now there's 5. But I don't remember all of them. I remember some of them, like, God, please help me get out of this. Please, or thank you, or like the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven. Then you've got just meditation, where you don't say anything, you just meditate. And I can't remember the 4th one, but anyways, the important part is the 5th mode of prayer, which is actually, in this, I love this because this ties into the law of attraction. It actually proves that the law of attraction is real. Okay, and that mode of prayer is feeling the feeling of what you're praying for. So, if you want world peace, you actually feel the feeling of what it would feel like to have world peace, and you meditate, and you feel that feeling. You let those feelings vibrate through your body, because feelings are vibrations. Everything is a vibration. Okay, and the love and peace and those positive emotions have a higher vibration. Okay, where fear and anger and the negative emotions have a lower vibration. And it also has to do with your DNA. Okay, I'm not going to touch on that, I don't think, now, because I could go on forever about that. But I'll just say this, that by feeling the emotion of love, you actually are healing and activating codons in your DNA that are not currently activated. Okay, that's all I'll say. I'll probably touch on that more in another video. But anyways, it's this 5th mode of prayer has been proven to work. Back in the 1980s, there were, I believe, 24 people that were taught how to feel this emotion of, this feeling and emotion of peace, and this new mode of prayer. And they were placed around the United States, and they would all pray at a certain time of day. And what they found out, that in these cities that they were in, the crime rates went down. The emergency room visits went down. Places where there were stock markets, like Chicago, the stock market soared. Just, it was amazing. There was peace. Okay, so they took that and they said, they proved there was the probability that it wasn't them praying was like 1 in a million. Okay, so it's definitely from their prayer. So they said, okay, well, let's take this even further. And during the Gulf War, they put them in Lebanon and Jerusalem and places around the Middle East. And they did the same thing. And what happened is the peace, and this was actually drawn on a chart where you can see it with your own eyes, that the amount of people meditating, if you just imagine it as a line. So let's say this is the amount of people meditating, okay? We'll go, and here's your line. And so we'll just do a few more. All right, that's good. And then this is the peace. And it almost directly correlated with the amount of people meditating. You had an almost identical correlation to the amount of people meditating and the peace that was experienced in Lebanon. Okay, so they had scientific proof that peace and meditation and prayer had a direct correlation. All right, and then there was another study. I watched it on a video, which you can go watch. I'll probably put a link below if I can find the video, because it's kind of hard to find. But it's of Greg Braden talking in some, it looks like a bus or church, and he's talking about this. It's from his Isaiah Effect book. But like I said, I was just reading this, and there's actually video footage of it, of a medicineless hospital in China, okay, where they literally heal people without medicine. And a lot of people have used it as a last resort. Well, this woman had bladder cancer, and she tried all this other treatment. So as a last resort, she went to this medicineless hospital. Well, this medicineless hospital functions just like I've been telling you with this new mode of prayer, where there are practitioners. Okay, and I'll go ahead and get into the video, which is of this Chinese woman laying on a table. She's wearing some type of like hospital gown. There was no anesthesia used, no medicine. All right, and she had her shirt up, and they had the what's the word I'm looking, X-ray or whatever you want to call it, on her bladder, and they took a picture of the tumor so you could see at one moment what the tumor looked like, and you could see it. It was peeking out of the bladder. Okay, and then these practitioners start chanting, and they start doing these motions with their hands and feeling, and the chant that they're saying is already gone, already healed. Okay, and they're feeling the feeling of this woman being healed. Well, you see, in a matter of 2 minutes and 40 seconds, this tumor start to quiver, and then it starts going down, 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 and then within 2 minutes and 40 seconds, it's completely gone. There wasn't even a scar on the bladder where the tumor was, which is impossible. I mean, there's no way that should have happened the way that it did, but it did. And it's videotaped right there on the screen for your own eyes to see. Okay? And I was trying to explain this to my mom, and she couldn't believe it. She said, "Oh, that's heresy," basically. And I'm like, "No, it's not. Go look it up. Have an open mind." And what that says is that we can change our reality. And I can tell you from experience that this is true, because when I was out drinking and using, I think I touched on this in the last part, that when I was focusing on the negative, oh man, I'm going to get evicted from my apartment, or my electric's going to get shut off, or I'm going to lose my car, or I don't know, blah, 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 all these negative feelings and emotions. And it all happened. But now, and recently, I had an incredible experience. I've been practicing this, and I've been feeling the feeling of prosperity, okay? Feeling the feeling of money coming to me that I can in turn use to do more research and to help my family out, and to one of my dreams is to travel to ancient Egypt and be able to go through the pyramids. And so I've been feeling this feeling of that. And wouldn't you know it, I haven't done any work whatsoever online. And I even quit the Empower Network. Those of you that are marketers watching this, you know what I'm talking about. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know what I'm talking about. But yet, I had, within the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I have made $3,500, directly deposited into my bank account from Empower Network. Now, explain that to me. This was 2 days ago. First one was a $1,000 sale that I had made. Again, I haven't done any work. I haven't been promoting Empower Network because I quit Empower Network. I quit promoting it. I didn't quit. I didn't stop paying Empower Network because I do have a little income that comes from that I worked very hard to create. So I'm not going to just, stop. I stopped promoting it. Anyways, I've really been practicing this, and I think this was 2 nights ago. I logged into my e-wallet, which is, there where your money goes when it gets deposited every Friday. This might have been 2 or 3 days ago. And I logged in, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I had over $2,500 sitting in there. And I thought, I literally got up and fell down on my face, and I was just in shock. I was absolutely in shock because it worked. It actually worked. Now, this goes on the law of karma. You cannot get something that you don't deserve. The cause and effect, Newton's law, cause and effect. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Now, I put in a year or more of time devoting day and night, literally staying up day and night, 3 nights, 3 days at a time, working on this stuff. So I had put in the work in order to receive that. Now, you can't just wish, like The Secret likes to tell you. You can't just wish things or do this without putting the work in. You have to put the work in, whether that's spiritually. You have to help somebody else. That's the key to this, to making this work. So Anyways, guys, I'm going to end that here because I'm going on. I don't want to keep these videos too long. I want to keep them under an hour apiece. But I will probably be doing at least 2 more parts, probably. Or I mean, 1 or 2 more parts to The Truth Will Set You Free, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. So keep posted, guys. Subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you think. I look forward to helping you open your mind and get into contact with your higher self. Love you guys. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.